What's up, dinguses? My name is Jerry Bees. It seemed as though if you were reacting to music on the internet in 2024, you had to listen to Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. And that's fine with me. The whole point of me being on this platform, doing what I'm doing, is to be exposed to new music. And it is really new music to me because I have absolutely no frame of reference here. It seems like Imaginal Disc and Magdalena Bay, maybe for the most part, this was kind of a breakout hit for them. At least I had never heard of them before, and there's tons of publications that have absolutely praised this album, and I've only seen the headlines, right? So I wanted to go in as blind as possible because when it kind of dropped and I started hearing the murmurs of it, I'm like, this might be something I react to at some point, and this might be one of the most requested albums for me to react to, so there's just tons of reason to get excited about it and to kind of see what it's all about, I guess. Hopefully you get something out of watching this reaction if this was one of your favorite albums of the year. It could even be one of your favorite albums of all time. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you couldn't tell, this is part of a live stream. This is where we do the live album reactions. So if you want to be a part of it, make sure you click one of the links down in the description to catch me the next time I go live. And you'll always see me announce the next time I go live on either my community tab or in my Patreon. As a free member, you can see the next times I go live. That link is also down in the description as well. So I don't think we should waste any more time here. This is Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay, 2024, 15 songs, 53 minutes, and we start right now.
Hello. Down the line, over the waves, two kids hang the wall over the hearth. 5 more than a house of many urchins that burns up like lights burn up steady. Can't hear skulls singing his name. Lights burns up, spins to rain. That's his curse, that's my manic and death.
Okay, so, hello indeed. First lines of this album, hello. And I was immediately going to go, okay, what a way to start an album. Right, with a greeting, hello. But what a greeting this is, wouldn't you say? Like, there is a lot going on, production-wise. Just how violent those drops were. Which makes sense with the message of the album, right? So I don't know how much of this is... At first I was like, okay, is she a military brat? Right? And is she's just accustomed to big bangs and, all, big bangs in the sense of like, bombs and shit, right? But then I was like, or is this more just about the military-industrial complex and just how normalized it is in all of our lives? Or something from her childhood as a result of the American military? Am I reading too far into this? Just because, turned my tongue, had to learn a new language, changed my name, and you were like kind of like a refugee kind of thing? I don't know. There's a lot going on here. Crossing the earth. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Me win Magdalena Bay? Her parents are both in the military, I believe. Oh, okay, so maybe there's a little bit more to go off there as far as the military brat theory that I had. She was born in Argentina, but grew up in Miami. So America's Only Fate, meaning like she wonders what could have been if she'd grown up where she was born, I think. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the story for a lot of military brats all over the country. Fuck it, all over the world. Like how hard it is, like, make friends and shit, and you're kind of prioritized. Well, for a lot of people, it's just the job, but, you are kind of prioritizing the efforts therein of the American military. So, okay. I'm hazard to say anything else before we go any further. So let's just get into it. That was She Looked Like Me. And this is Killing Time. Okay. I do appreciate that it's a little bit calmer. I'll go back a little bit here, folks, just because it's almost for certain that we're about to enter a new kind of movement within the song. We're probably getting closer to the bridge here. How fun is this? A perfect, like that big doom doot, doom doot, right? It's kind of shuffly. I'm swaying. I'm in my hammock, going side to side to side, killing time. We need more songs about time and all of the implications therein. That's all I'm saying. Maybe because as a one man, especially a one man reacting to music on the internet, right? I don't know. Just like the concept of time is always something that I think quite a lot about. Maybe in my daydreaming and I don't know, in my existential moments. And I feel myself connect with those a little bit more. Time by Pink Floyd, and even an obscure example. There's a song called Timing by the Cobra Skulls that I really like, but that's besides the point. That is just all to say that I personally just like how they're handling this concept of killing time, and it does seem like a very relaxed kind of mood, and that's kind of okay. Spend my days patiently waiting for the night to creep in, chasing clouds, counting sheep. And at least in that section, she's not sleeping. So this might actually kind of go into, actually, if there's any of my fellow insomniacs out there, this could also kind of speak to that, to where, if you've ever found yourself in a restless night, it's kind of all that you're doing is killing time. You're just kind of either waiting to fall asleep or waiting to know that you're too tired to do anything. That's what you're weighing in that scenario. As far as your vocal style is concerned, I'll just say this, because this is as far as other things I've reacted to on this channel, so go watch some of my other videos if you haven't already. This song in particular, not so much the last song, but this song I was like, okay, this is Sabrina Carpenter. This seems like something off of Short and Sweet a little bit, albeit infinitely less horny, but that's fine. That some people even prefer that, you know what I mean? Now, she hasn't demonstrated the range of Sabrina Carpenter, but I'm not listening to this comparing her to Sabrina Carpenter the entire time. I'm just saying that that's what it kind of reminded me of there. So, well... That was fire. Holy shit. Lots to talk about in that one, I think. So conceptually, right? It's about time, and I've already kind of, gushed about how much I love that concept in a song. But she's getting cheeky with it, right? If time is meant for living, why is it killing me? Right? Time is our most important yet most fleeting resource, it seems. Like, what the fuck? Why can I not have enough of this? And you can think about what you're not doing in your time, maybe. And because that is something to think about. Because you do spend a third of your life asleep, which is just like, well, fuck. There's so many other experiences I could be having, right? I could have gotten the Yumbo when Burger King had the Yumbo, but I didn't go get the Yumbo. It just, all that other shit that kind of implies, right? I kid. I take that in jest. But I think this is kind of touching on a more serious thing here. And also just how the tone completely changes. But it's not such an about face that it's a completely different song or anything like that. It's just, between the first two songs, there seems to be just these moments where it's like, okay, throw all the overdrive, throw all the fucking fuzz in there, and there's no reason why we can't keep the sparkles in the background while we're at it, right? This album has a lot to say about how people spend their time and how technology has infiltrated our time. Okay. All right. I'll be on the lookout for that as we continue. I'm getting hyper pop, but I don't want to put the gavel down on that one just quite yet. So we'll go ahead and move on here. True Blue Interlude. I can't speak.
It's you.
So, am I the only one that got like heavy like perfume cologne ad vibes off of this one? Like I feel it, and I feel like this album is going to be as smart as I think it is and has been in the short sample size that we've kind of looked over so far. That it just feels like I'm trying to be convinced or persuaded of something here. I don't know how much I can take away from, reflecting your eyes are floating beyond yours in your mother's mother or your child's child. Something that's in all of us? Something that's been there? Us? You? The soul? The royal we? Definitely like interlude-y, commercially kind of vibes there. And then, I don't know, where is it? We're right here, where those low-end synths come in, right?
Say hello. It's...
and she's going up, and they're kind of building towards something there, especially with her vocals, and then it just kicks back down to that low synth. That was a nice little swing and dance they did for me there, right? Okay, moving on. Image.
Brand new image.
Seems like we're about to get into another section here. And a couple things to say about this one. So I think this is kind of a commonality between some things I've reacted to on this channel so far, which is, and I think this kind of has to do with the fact that, at least lately, right, there has been a lot of like pop acts that I've listened to, and there's not a ton sonically in difference between this and some of the like heavy pop shit, right? And I'm not saying like heavy as like aggressive, but like heavy as in very much pop, right? And it's been cool for me as somebody who doesn't really listen to a lot of pop to kind of get to know those personalities, get to know their, you know, lyrical themes and habits or their vocals and all of that. But there is something to be said in like instrumental parts or creating this scene of sound that where, you know, there's no lyrics happening. It's just the instrumentation. And there wasn't like, you know, there wasn't a killer guitar solo or a drum solo or anything like that, but it's just adding upon the space in which you're listening to the song, you know, the space in which the song invites you in, I think is the better way to put that. And it's funky, and it feels like I'm floating. I don't know. Those just like, right? It just feels like it's just like taking me somewhere on like a nice little zip line. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way when you listen to music? Please tell me I'm not crazy, right? Also, I do want to see, so she says, oh my God, 22 more minutes. And that's at 49 seconds. And let's see. Almost a minute on the dot there. I guess you could round up there as far as that being the case there. But I was like, okay, so she mentioned 22 more minutes, 21 more minutes. I think that's some nice attention to detail there that I liked a little bit. I think there's, yeah, no, is that a minute? I think that is actually a minute on the dot. So that's kind of cool. And then also, this is just kind of for me coming in with some of the music that I like. Her vocal delivery here, or like the melody that she's choosing, right? So right here, this line is giving me heavy Glass Animals vibes, and I love Glass Animals. Glass Animals is one of my favorite groups. So I the dude's name escapes me. Who is that? We'll do some devotion to accuracy real quick. Dave Bailey. So that's just a very Dave Bailey kind of sounding thing. Maybe other people sound like that aren't Dave Bailey, but that's just where I'm kicking it right now, right? That's just where I'm kicking it. Okay, so knowing that some of these songs might be transitioning into each other, I'll leave a little bit of space there. Yeah, so I and somebody had kind of pointed out a little bit maybe in the chat, but I'm kind of guessing that there's got to be some psychological stuff going on in here, just as far as any confidence, medicine. Confidence is a mental thing anyway. So is common sense, tied to your self-esteem or your self-image there. But it hasn't happened yet because just obviously because of the countdown there. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. I don't know. I think naturally I tend to look for narrative in albums, and maybe that's a pitfall in some of my analysis. But I think I can kind of drop that if I'm not picking up on anything in particular. I think I was doing that a little bit too much on Blonde, Frank Ocean's album. But I think there was enough to kind of pick apart there to where there was some loose sense of narrative there, so to speak. And that wall of low bass that comes in, just Magdalena Bay, destroy me with that bass, won't you? Please, God. All right, moving on. Death and Romance. my face is getting kind of tired because I just held the stank face for about 2.5 minutes there. You know, I think the lyrics are what they are here. You know, it's a commentary on romance and interpersonal relationships, right? I'm not getting a ton out of that. However, the rhythm section on this album, and I don't know if this goes for all of Magdalena Bay's music. I like I said, I have no idea what this band sounded like at all before this. Except like 3 seconds of one song, just to like, what are they? And it was on another project of theirs, so it wasn't even this one. Their rhythm section kicks ass. The guy on bass, I wonder if it's a slide bass, just because he, she, they, I don't care. They're really funky. They are so fucking funky. And so the drummer is absolutely eating this song. Yeah, and it's like the rhythm section is so good that like I'm not even like really paying attention to. I guess I am because I caught it, you know, just like the little sprites I'm getting, especially in the right channel here, is just like, it's just wicked, man.
Keep us together. My hands, your hands, I'll hold forever. Lonely hands.
I hadn't even noticed the fucking piano until now. Holy shit.
Yeah, I give and you give till it's all that we have. You know nothing is better than death and romance. And you give till it's all that you have.
Okay, so as we're gonna listen to that play into the next song here, you know, I was gonna say that this is fun, and it definitely is. This is like so much fun. I am having a blast listening to this, and I hope you are too. Watching me have fun to this, right? But more than that, I think I want to give an attribute to an album so far, at least, that I have not given to any other album, and that is powerful. You know, I think especially on, you know, some of Radiohead or that Frank Ocean album, you know, in Blonde, there are definitely powerful moments. And you could even argue that those projects as a whole were powerful, but this is coming through. Just the sound and the music alone is just very, very powerful. Not even like power to like emotionally move me. Maybe we'll see where that goes. But in that sense, probably even still, just it's the emotion of fun. It's the it has the power to make you feel jovial as fuck, my guy. Right? It's only getting more powerful. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Fear and sex. Fear, sex. I kind of love how I'm having a tough time piecing this one together. Or even, I don't know. It seems like lyrically there's a lot of subtlety here. which is not there's really not a ton subtle about the music. It almost seems like those like low synth basses that are coming through so strong, they're at like the front of the fucking mix and everything else is behind it, which I kind of love. I mean, at least it's meeting my ears really well. I don't know. Do I just say like lyrically here? She's seeing somebody who's in a bad situation. Like it's kind of what I'm getting here. This could mean something so much more personal, and there's some backstory there. I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say in that regard. Should have known those dirty bastards put wires in your head. So actually, you know, just kind of continue on the theme of maybe some psychological tumult that we're dealing with here, and maybe that's a theme that we kind of carry on throughout the album. I'm all for the existential shit, man. Albert Camus, my best friend. Vampire in the Corner.
Vampire in the corner, am I scaring you off? I wanna dance, I wanna learn how to love. Someone call the corner, cause you're breaking my heart, my God. I think I might have loved you too. I wanna make you mine. Told you 1,000 times I'm your Valentine.
Her fucking voice.
I wanna show you around Valentine.
Okay, so I just gotta say this before we go any further here, because it's something that I've been meaning to say throughout the first several songs that we've listened to thus far. Her choice in melody and even the song's chord progressions, for where they're consistent and it hasn't changed the vibe up too much, are really nice. I wish I knew just a little bit more about music theory to tell you what's happening. I feel like if I'm fucking around on my guitar and I just like lifted a finger off, like, because there's like a huge difference between like an A chord and an A7, right? If you play guitar or even just music at all, like you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. I don't know exactly what those terms are or whatever that is, but there's just subtle things that she's doing to make it like this sounds very new, and even I don't know if ahead of its time is the right word, but it feels very current and in its place, but still calling upon classic chord progressions and melodies, and that's just kind of adding another layer to everything here.
Buzz, baby, on my rainy day that's starting to flood, my God. It's only cause I love you too much. Vampire in the corner, am I scaring you off? I wanna dance, I wanna love too much. I wanna make you nice.
It's like a flawless transition.
1,000 times I'm your Valentine. Oh, I wanna show you around. Don't wanna let you down. You're my
Her voice is incredible on this track, ladies and gentlemen. It's already been pretty good. You know, I think it's like a very common thing that people try to do now, or it's like a common thing that I hear in like this generation's music more than I have like the right. And I'm not knocking it, right? There's times I really love it, but I'm just saying that that's a very common thing. But she's utilizing it well in these songs. And if anything, the, you know, more of like the maybe whinier whisper is just to be there in contrast to those higher ranges there, and it takes us somewhere else. I don't know how many more times I'm going to talk about the fucking low end fucking bass synth that's featured in this. So as far as that is concerned, I'm just going to give this to the bass in the album as a whole to, prevent me from talking about it anymore, right? One more for good measure. Because my ears are just having a fucking time and a half listening to this. And then, like I said, seamless transition, because the bones of the song are still the same as, they drop the bass, or they okay, it was a bass guitar, now it's the synth, now it's just the sprinkles and the sprites in the background or whatever it is. Man, this song kicks ass. I like this one a lot. I know I was the last romance song didn't really hit me all that well, or maybe you could even argue that was more just general human experience there between death and romance, all of those things in between. But here, this is dude, I'm Edward in the science class and you're Bella. Dude, you got me feeling feral, ladies and gentlemen. You got me feeling feral. I don't know if I've ever done so many air horns. I kind of just like doing the air horn though. Okay, so there's two members here, right? So does it kind of work on the concept of singer, producer, composer, right? I don't know how they're divvying up the labor here, but it's good. So we're gonna keep it going. TV. Okay, so you could have the best production in the world, and this is a very, very well produced album. This is really good. But you can lose a lot in points of production if, the composition is just okay, or the structure is just whatever it is, or it's very conventional. They're utilizing so many different components within the composition and the structure and keeping me on my toes, but not so much that this isn't the most accessible thing. I already mentioned them, right? Some other stuff I've reacted to, Frank Ocean, Radiohead, where I've loved some of those projects a lot, and I've called back to, like Skylines or Siegfried from Blonde, or, most any song off of OK Computer. And I've actually been listening to a lot of Kid A in the car recently, but I can see how maybe a lot of that, or a lot of, especially Radiohead's discography, right? People might not think that that's the most accessible thing to get into, but then once you're into it, you can see, like me, right? I was like, no, I don't really have time for it. But I'm like, okay, I get it. I know why these guys are so fucking good. With this, it at face value, it's pretty damn accessible, right? Like it's funky, it's pretty sounding, she's got a great little voice there, but it doesn't take much to kind of peel beneath the surface to go, oh my, they're cooking on so many different levels here. To where, and actually, I think the album, as far as another album that I've reacted to thus far, it would be Brat. I think that's the Venn diagram right there, where I think in terms of how much substance there is and then how accessible it is. It just fucking, like, they just shake hands, right? Not Brat in the way that it sounds. So I'll clarify that. Not Brat in the way that it sounds, but like in concept and like at the end of the day for me. Whereas like Brat had so much going on in production, in the themes, in the lyrics, in the performance, but it was still very accessible. Like it wasn't very hoe-scaring, if that makes any sense. And I think the same is true for this, where there's a lot that invites you in, and at surface level, it's perfectly fine. But if you want to dig a little bit deeper, you'll have the time of your fucking life. So because that's exactly how I felt about Brat.
It's time to leave. All that's left to bother me are dreams forgotten in the deep. It's not me. The monsters around It's time to me.
Holy shit. So, okay. Thematically here, lyrically, is TV a way to escape from the problems that we're dealing with, or the person that we are that we want to forget about? Is that what I'm getting from this? Because that's what it comes off to me. All that's left to bother me are dreams in the sleep. It's not me. That's gotta be it. I'm gonna give myself an air horn right now because I don't care. That's all I need. Now watch somebody in the YouTube comments go, yeah, well actually, and that's fine. I'll accept that. Yeah, especially when everything seems crumbling down around you and you want to escape. Yeah, man. I'm digging. I'm digging this a whole lot. So we'll get back to around here.
It's time to me.
Also, there aren't like hard, like a couple of the songs so far have had like some hard transitions. Well, I guess seamless transitions, so to speak, where it's a direct like end of one song going into the start of the next, where there just seems to be seamless breaks in between. Some of them where it's like they're just performing it one after another. It's produced to kind of sound like that, or they recorded it live. I don't know. Tunnel Vision.
I learned to fight and run. I learned to follow one, and suddenly I can breathe. I turn, tunnel vision closing in over me. I forget with life is my witness. I can stand on my feet. I fall back, then I see the sun of vision.
Come on now.
Closing in over me. I forget with love is my witness. I can stand on my feet. I fall back, then I see nobody else can see. I've learned what made me start. What turned me on.
Holy shit. I mean, these 3 tracks have, like, absolutely knocked it out of the fucking park. And, like, how they're able... Because I already made the comment about the composition and the structure. They are seemingly masters of of that shit. Because, like, you're expecting one thing, and then they get into another section, and then that whole last instrumentation part, I got really fucking excited. Because it's very reminiscent. And here's some homework. Listen to the last, like, minute of this song, minute and a half of this song. Then go listen to One of These Days by Pink Floyd. It's the first song off their album Metal. And it's a very similar sequence right there. But this last fucking verse. Like, this went from, like, 1970s Doobie Brothers, Boz Scaggs, maybe some run-of-the-mill Steely Dan to, like, Pink Floyd, and then it just got harder and harder and harder to where, like, fuck, this isn't soft rock, this is hard rock. Like, they're taking bits from so many different genres and weaving them all in so well. And I haven't even talked about the fucking lyrics yet. You know, I think if we're running with, like, the whole, like, psychopathy kind of thing, not to say that you're a psychopath. I think that's what psychopathy means, but, you know, less than savory psychotic episodes are just your psyche, as it were. This is trying to fight through those times. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck in trying to articulate my point on this. Oh my god. V's vocab segment wins soon. I was in vocabulary builders in high school. Love is everywhere. Like, so far this song, and I guarantee it's going to change at some point, because that's all these guys do, is that they just leave me off in left field whenever they feel like it, and I thank them for it ultimately. But this is just another example of, you know, there's way more to this album if you want it, but at face value, it's just so funky and fun. Yeah, you know, the production, you can get in all the nitty gritty, but this is just right now, it's just funk. Come in here, come inside, we have funk. Yes, we know you've been looking for some, and we have plenty to spare. We have plenty to spare. Kind of reminds me of Lil Yachty put that album out. What is it? Running Out of Time. That's just a contemporary example where that's just where my mind went right there. That one was just a groove, ladies and gentlemen. That's all that was. That was like the most straightforward song on this entire project so far. Like, seriously, that was, and I ate my own words, because I said at the top that, like, well, you know, they're probably going to throw me in some different hole in this song here. But no, they kept us in that pocket for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Bravo. nice. Very nice indeed. Feeling Diskinserted? Like deserted? All right. Nice little interlude track and some wordplay there. I just played like 9 fucking applause sound effects and it begins a song with applause sound effects. Had to be there for the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Had to be there for the stream.
Angel on a satellite, glad you found us.
We're getting this orchestra section now. Playing it right into the next song. That's my floor.
Tell me when I whisper in your ear, doesn't make you wanna disappear. Man, oh God, that's my floor. I'm coming up to the party and I want more. So open up for me like such joy. We're floating above the lobby, that's my door. I let it open me.
This is so much fucking fun. This is incredible.
So maybe if I opened up my mind, I could really learn to look alive. Never really noticed I'm a transcendental type. That's my floor. I'm coming up to the party and I want more. So open up for me like such joy. We're floating openly.
If this whole album is like fun, this was like, you better have fun fucking right now. Right now. This like, oh man, where it comes all busted up and fucking like they hit the overdrive. I don't know what they're doing. They're turning the gain all the way up. God damn, how fun is that? And you know, this is, you know, because I think going across some of the themes of the album, I think existential dread is probably one of the key takeaways for this. And here it seems like, you know, she's kind of inviting somebody else in to either commiserate with her or to bask in the ambiance that is this increasingly chaotic and inherently meaningless existence that we all share. And despite that, in the year of our Lord 2024, when people will too often, I think, grasp it, oh, we're so divisive. Oh, what strange and dangerous and deadly times we live in. And certainly they are for a lot of people. Probably for all of us, actually. But it always kind of takes me back when I listen to a new piece of music, contemporary music, that I think has helped me kind of transcend this chaotic and inherently meaningless reality. Where despite all the shit that's going on in the world, you have kick-ass music that's still coming out. People still trying to make this world beautiful. And that's my thinking while I'm listening to this record. Particularly this song. I mean, this song is fucking kick-ass. Didn't say it earlier, but I think given the album cover, I was thinking like, I was really hoping this wasn't going to be some like vaporwave shit, because vaporwave was never my favorite thing in the world. But seeing this album cover, I was like, okay, is this going to be like a Y2K kind of thing? And it not really, but there's I think in some of the melodies that she's chosen, it harkens back to that a little bit. If it is early 2000s, like Y2K kinds of shit, outside of the album cover, it's very subtle. It's very subtle indeed. Okay, so we're moving on here, folks. Loving this so far. This is Cry For Me by Magdalena Bay. I know we just got done talking about how it may have given off Y2K vibes, but I think the main, like, maybe decade that this is calling upon would be like the 70s, so somebody said that this was ABBA-coded with the strings in the orchestra, and there was other times where, there were some orchestral movements in this, or I'm like, it does take me back to like a Doobie Brothers or a Steely Dan or something like that. ABBA, I think, for this song especially, is the perfect way to go there. And this isn't, I don't think this album's breaking a ton of new ground. I think it's derivative of some of those sounds from the 70s and maybe some blots of early 2000s somewhere. But where it's kind of pushing the edges within its production, it's like, okay, how do these sounds sound when it's mixed in with some electronic production, with those low-end basses, with these new synths and production techniques and engineering, and you could talk about it for forever. That's where I think the mass acclaim could kind of turn in. And then, there's a lot of God talk in this, right? And I think, they say don't judge a book by its cover or an album by its cover. And I say, fuck that, right? Because when it's handled well, it's handled very well. And I think that can add to the experience of the album itself and listening to it, right? And the ideas that it's laying down. And I think that's right. So, there's lots of talks about angels and God, and, you get back into these existential crises of, where your place is in this world and in your life and how you kind of fucking deal with all that. Yeah, we're going to be looking up for answers sometimes. You know what I mean? It's hard not to. So that just makes it a little bit more cohesive there for me. Girls So Confusing. I do like how this one was, I think arguably, because, you know, we had a couple of interlude tracks. Like, this one was definitely the calmest song, so to speak. You know, we're going back into the angel god religious thing, but I think, is this a metaphor for people being on their phones? She doesn't want to pay attention to the satellites that are up there. 1,000 eyes turn to stone in monochrome. Like, we're all seeing the same things in the same way. Or very little through our phone. I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm picking that up. I could be completely wrong. Please do let me know. That goes for any interpretation I've gotten from this video thus far. Let me know down in the comments. Yeah, and so we'll see where it goes. And then I might as well do the recap here. I tend to do a recap of the whole album before the last song. Helps me kind of hype up the last song in a way. So we're not necessarily done with this, but as far as lyrical content is concerned, I don't know how much I can say that I haven't already said about this album. I feel like in some ways it's been holding my hand getting through it because I've been having so much fun, and just the music is so goddamn good. How they're able to compose and structure all of these different genres of music and still make it their own, you know, and it's seemingly derivative from sounds of the 70s and, you know, maybe even a couple like early 2000s R&B type things, but it is derivative in the best ways possible. And they're still putting in the time to, again, make it their own with some of that harder, you know, bass production that they got going on. The fucking bass guitar and drums, the rhythm section in this band, in this group, rather, the two of them, right? The duo. I don't know who's playing the instruments, if they get session musicians or what the fuck is going on, and I do not care because they fucking shined. The rhythm section was awesome. Her voice is awesome. It's awesome. The album cover, awesome. Spotify is awesome. Twitch is awesome. YouTube is awesome. Right, you know, all that other crap. And I think, you know, on subsequent listens, I'll probably pull from the themes a little bit more. Like I said, I think by default, I tend to look at things like through a narrative lens, and that doesn't necessarily have to exist in every album, nor should it, quite honestly. But this is more just a collection of those kinds of ideas, right? Very existential. Let's see if anything gets resolved here, either musically or lyrically. In the next song. Last song, the Ballad of Matt and Mica, the two people in the group.
Into nowhere, 2 years from home. Most days are for nothing. I keep kicking the fly high over salads. Past Paragon. That's why I'm the greatest. I keep shining the sun. Every day, bang bang, never ending. Isn't my life, isn't my fate. Not ordinary, not ordinary.
Not Charlie XCX. The way to bring everything back at the end of this was really something. You know, and I usually will talk about how an album or how a song feels on an album, where it's placed on the album, song placement as a feel for the album. And this one's great. You know, I mean, we're getting into it. She's, you know, the chat beat me to some of this. This is kind of outside the realm of some of the stuff that we've talked about at first, because it is very much, you know, 2 years from home, they're on the road or they've moved away, 2 kids in a new town, right? You know, this is them. This is the story of them in their seemingly young career. I don't know how long they've been around for. I mean, I'll just take a gauge as their first single. 2017 was their first single, I guess, right? God, whatever happened to a page for music chads? Is he still around? By the way, should I call this video "Insufferable White Man Listens to an Album"?
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.